Back in the day, it was almost impossible to see Russian special forces or soldiers caught on tape during their military exercises. Nowadays, there's a huge amount of such content online. Actually, sometimes it turns out to be even more puzzling, so let's go straight to one of the puzzles. Why do Russian soldiers raise their right elbow while firing and reload AKs with the right hand, holding the rifle by its handguard? In fact, Russian Spetsnaz operators never do that. On the contrary, this only makes them laugh and wish to give it in the neck to the commanders teaching soldiers to hold their rifles like that. However, not everyone in the military would agree with that. What's the point in this strange technique, and who's actually right? Before we begin, let me invite you to dive into the vast seas of World of Warships, sponsor of today's video, this hot July. It's gonna be cool, I promise, cause World of Warships is a free online game that takes players to the helm of a real warship, allowing them to take part in epic sea battles. More than 40 breathtaking maps and hundreds of highly detailed ships, with new ones being added just every month. From stealthy destroyers to massive aircraft carriers, built from real 20th century blueprints. Here, you can pick PvP battles or go to PvE missions, and the game is available on PC as well as consoles. Follow the link in description to download World of Warships. Use the Bravo promo code to get 500 doubloons, 1.5 million credits, a week of premium, and a free ship after completing 15 battles. Hurry up and claim your reward! So, what's this weird Soviet grip like, and how did it appear? In the standing posture, the soldier holds the AK by the handguard or by the magazine with the left hand, and by the grip with the right hand. The body is turned sideways towards the enemy. The elbow of the left arm is turned downward, and sometimes it may even rest against the side. The elbow of the right hand is literally raised upwards, pointing to the side. Because of the similarity, this grip was nicknamed chicken wing. Like everything else in the army, this posture and grip have a history. This technique appears even in the Soviet manuals on shooting, not to mention various postures all over army units and police departments. There, this method is also demonstrated. But is it really practical? In a modern combat situation, the only good thing such as stance and grip bring is good chances of getting killed. First of all, such a posture means the soldier is standing up straight. That doesn't only make his profile higher, it also has a negative impact on fire accuracy. Secondly, raised elbow. That's a great favor for the enemies, even if they aren't the most accurate shooters. Especially when it comes to close quarters combat in the city. Before the soldier can see anything around the corner, his elbow gets exposed, so it's likely this soldier won't get to see anything at all. Thirdly, side stance. The thing is, armored vests do not protect the soldier equally all over their surface, like some medieval armor. Body armor usually has two plates that protect the soldier from bullets. They are located in the front and back side. Sometimes side plates are also included in the protection, but they are much smaller. And sometimes there are no side plates at all, but there is soft armor in the side parts, the so-called kammerbands. It protects against shrapnel, but cannot stop a bullet. Thus, when a soldier turns sideways toward the enemy, he increases his chances of getting shot right in the least protected spot. Last but not the least comes the reloading process. According to the Russian army instructions, a soldier should remove the magazine from the AK with his right hand, while holding the rifle by the handguard with his left hand. Using this technique, the shooter loses more time, because after reloading, he will need to return his right hand to the grip and grab the weapon again. Of course, all of this makes Special Forces operators laugh. They use the frontal stance, when the front of the body is turned towards the enemy. At the same time, the back is slightly tilted forward, which helps to reduce the barrel throw and lower their profile. The elbows of both hands are pointing down, and reloading is done with the left hand. Thus, the position of the rifle is almost unchanged, and the main thing is that the right hand remains near the trigger, which enables the operator to react faster to the possible contact with the enemy. In fact, this is what is taught to soldiers in all modern armies of the world. Comparing these two methods, we can see that the chicken wing technique is not practical at all. But then, a logical question arises: why do soldiers keep using it? Despite the fact that this technique is commonly referred to as Soviet school, it is not really Soviet. This technique was used in all armies of the world 40 or 50 years ago. Moreover, it has been known in the world since long ago, when the first rifles appeared. Putting the stock into the shoulder with the elbow slightly raised is easier and more comfortable, and it seems intuitively correct. Besides, modern body armor and methods of searching and clearing premises didn't exist back then. This said, the accuracy of rifles was much lower, so it was not so easy to shoot someone into an elbow. Russian commanders began to abandon this Soviet technique as far back as during the Afghan War, but it impractically became most acute during the Chechen War, where, unlike the vast valleys of Afghanistan, many battles were fought in cities and at close range. There are still some individual officers, though, who continue to teach their soldiers in the old-school style. The thing is, the army is a really bulky mechanism. Changing something about military manuals is not easy at all, considering all the paperwork it takes. A lot of officers will still teach their soldiers so as it stands in the instructions, even if these are out of date. Besides, since Soviet times, the position of a military instructor in the army has been considered the most unprestigious. They always gave this position either to old officers right before retirement or completely untalented ones, and they teach the way they learned it themselves 20 or 30 years ago. In addition, among the military and even special forces, there are people for whom there's nothing better than an old Soviet pea jacket, a steel helmet with a visor, and foot wraps. They refer to polymer helmets, thermal socks, and plastic parts on weapons as useless inventions for weaklings. And of course, for them, there's nothing better than a grip from the Soviet manuals, because it is for a reason. However, such followers of the old school are becoming fewer and fewer every year. That's all for today. Thank you all for watching. Follow the link in description to download World of Warships. Use the Bravo promo code to get 500 doubloons, 1.5 million credits, a week of premium, and a free ship after completing 15 battles. Hurry up and claim your reward. See you next week.